Bod, IA, Paul, Pot, Pierre, Paul, Poker, hookers, maybe some cocaine. I don't know. And lies and videotape. Anyway, we'll set that aside for now. I'm in a pretty nice room. I didn't pay very much. I'm smoking cigarettes. I'm okay. I don't have any weed. I had a little minor panic attack this morning when I was in Bangkok. And when I puked, I couldn't breathe. I was sat on a stool. I couldn't breathe. And then I puked. And there was an ambulance waiting for me. Just there, just right outside. There was a security guard with a scooter, and then 2 minutes later, there was an ambulance right there. It's right outside, just in case I have a heart attack. There's probably an ambulance outside my hotel here in Cambodia as well. Anyway, then I got on a plane. A ton of weird shit happened. But then I got on a plane, and Rebecca Apple was my Vietnamese stewardess. I was sleeping. I had a jacket over my head. She woke me up and she said, "Is this your bag?" I looked up at her face, and then she was pointing at my backpack. And then she came back again because my chair was broken and it kept reclining, but we hadn't taken off yet. She looked right in my face, right in my eyes. I had no idea who she was. Then, is this my bag? If this was a white bitch with green eyes, who would it be? Anyway, I took her picture. I'm not fucking with you. I'll post her pictures later on my blog. This is a blog. Some people say that this is a vlog, but this is what I understood to be a log. 1987. This is a log. In the background, there is a computer turning it into text. And on the front end, on the other side, there is another computer turning this back into video. And now I'm on Wi-Fi, so I can do really long fucking sets. I finished the intro. We're 4.5 minutes in. I just finished the intro. What is this video about? It's about veterans. I just restarted my laptop. Couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi. I restarted my laptop. I opened up YouTube, and then it auto-played Donald Trump signing a veterans bill. I had to explain to you about my flashback this morning. I'm not sure. It's not exactly a flashback. Well, maybe it's I don't know. I don't I understand that flashbacks are images that flash you back in time in your head. You see images in your head, and then you travel back in time. And then you feel shitty. Maybe you get sick. Is that a flashback? Sometimes my flash, I don't know why I'm having a. Sometimes I just get upset. I was trying to figure out what it was. Was I upset because I was walking away from the cleaning lady? Was I upset because I was walking away from my nigger cousins who were feeding me shit? I didn't know why I was upset, just I had a panic attack. And now we're learning about veterans' rights. And I found another job title that kind of works for me. I'm a vet. In the sense that, like, if you're a human, you can ask a vet for medical advice. And it's probably going to be better than the medical advice from someone who is neither a doctor or a vet. But medical from advice from a vet is not officially recognized as medical advice for a human. Vets would argue that they are overqualified because they know how to deal with many different species. Doctors would say that they are not certified to give medical advice to humans. Nevertheless, if you're a if you're a veteran who doesn't have very much money, or you're unemployed, or if you're, I don't know, like a Mexican and you're in the US illegally, a vet might someday be a good option for you. A vet. Not a doctor. A vet. A veteran. Or just a vet. And what's the worst possible thing that could happen if I went around telling people that I'm a vet? I wouldn't say I'm a veterinarian, and I wouldn't say that I'm a veteran. I would say I'm a vet. What's the worst possible thing that could happen? Someone would ask me where I served, and I would send them a link to my book. Another person might tell me that their dog has a tumor on their balls or some shit like that. Some weird shit. What should I do about it, and how much will it cost? I would say put your dog in a cage and don't give it any food or water until the tumor just fucking disappears from autophagy. Try that. You got an old dog that looks like it's on its last leg. You're about to put it to sleep. Try putting it in a cage with no food or water for 5 days. It'll autophagize all of the old, dead, dying cells. senescent cells, semi-cancerous cells. It'll just utilize all that for the protein and the water. You know, I've seen some. Anyway, whatever. I could give you uh, some medical advice. I feel I could do that. I could say I'm a vet, and this is not really medical advice. Educated conjecture. I can give you educated conjecture in the form of advice on any topic. I can give I can give you very well educated conjecture on any topic. And I start with the do no harm approach. Do nothing. If that doesn't work, call me back. But in any case, I'm very happy that your virtual president had. Oh, I'm not on the Wi-Fi. Oh boy, bummer. Hang on 1 second. Let me just connect to the Wi-Fi here. All right. I got on the Wi-Fi. I wasn't on the Wi-Fi. I connected downstairs and then it disconnected when I got to my room. But now I'm in a room with a double bed and a private bathroom, and I haven't checked yet, but I might have myself a hot shower for 4 nights. In Cambodia. You know, rule number 1 in my profession: assume you're always being video taped. Assume you're always being lied to. And assume the person you're fucking is not really your girlfriend. Do a good job, because you're probably being recorded. And another bitch might see it and think, oh, well, I don't know what he did wrong, but he seems pretty, you know, there's something interesting that happens if you just touch your lips. You know, this is very sensitive on your lips and your tongue. Very sensitive area. Maybe not quite as sensitive as the tip of my dick, but pretty fucking close. Very sensitive. I wouldn't want to cut my lips, that would suck. My cheek, I don't know. It's a little exciting, but this. I like kissing. I enjoy. I remember I met a bitch, Vicky Barcamp. I met her at like some kind of startup conference called Barcamp. We went to Jing'an Park, and I remember we made out in 3 or 4 different spots in that park. There might have been a solid half hour of making out. We just made out. I had my hands down her pants. I was behind her. We were making out. And I enjoyed it. Maybe not as climactic as sticking my dick in her, but still. There is a sex education video produced by Monty Python. It's step one is the kiss, hug, kiss. Step one. And don't think about what is step two, what is step three. No. Listen, kids, work on step one. Yeah, figure out what are the other. And now that you know that you have fun with your lips, yeah. What's fun for the bitch that you can do with your lips? Think about it. The neck. The neck is good. The ears, the neck, nipples, the crack, the fold between the tit and the rib cage is a good spot. The inside of the thighs. You can lick the inside of a bitch's thighs, but not lick her pussy, just move around it. Oh, you were so close, and then you went right past it, but I enjoyed what you did to my thigh. And then you went back to the other thigh, you skipped the pussy again. You know, teasing, drawing it out. I think I learned that from Tom Cruise, Vanilla Sky. One of the reasons I'm not sure I'm alive, because believe me, I have some psychotic ex-girlfriends. Cameron Diaz might actually be one of them, I'm not sure. I never fucked a white bitch. I will send you a picture of Rebecca Apple so that you can understand what I mean. I never fucked a white bitch. But, you know, now we're 18 and a half minutes into this video. And essentially, the point of this video is that VET is an abbreviation, could also be an acronym. It's a very nebulous job description. I was listening to some coverage of the Edward Snowden revelations, and some director of national security or whatever, some high up Intel official testified. And he said, no, we don't collect information on American citizens. Not that I'm aware of, blah, blah, blah. And later, when he was questioned about the fact that that was a lie and he had to know that it was a lie, he simply said it was the least dishonest thing I could say. What do? I don't do shit. And if I'm trying to impress a bitch, I might say that I'm a vet. A dude asks me what I do, I say I don't do shit. A bitch asks me what I do, I might say that I'm a vet. How about that? I have two job titles. I don't do shit. And I'm a vet. Again, if we define vet as someone who can give highly educated conjecture on any topic, that's me. That's me. And now to finish this video, Rebecca is Elisar Hannah. I went to school with her. I think I met Elisar when I was 7 or 8. Maybe I met her in 4th grade. I don't remember her at the Montgomery grade school. I remember her at the one on Ellis Street. And both grade schools that I went to in Agny were called Trillium. The Irish might tell you that a 4-leaf trillium is very lucky, but you'll never find one. I went to school 4th grade, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 OF 9. $1979, not 1980. 46, not 45. 15, not 14. +1, -1. Minor details. As far as I'm aware, Elisar was born in 1983. How do I feel about Elisar? I don't know. One white bitch I kinda had a crush on. I wasn't interested in any other white bitches. Elisar told me her dad is Lebanese. Elisar, blonde-ish, not blonde, off blonde. Could almost say she's a redhead. Auburn, amber, orange. Orange is her hair. How do I feel about Elisar? I don't know. Awkward. familiar. Happy to see her. But when I'm happy to see her, I don't remember all of the shit. Like today, when I saw her, I remembered something from 38 years ago ish. I skip past all the times that she called me stupid, all the times that she dumped me. I dumped her once. One time. Millie. I dumped Millie. My second Chinese girlfriend. The first one was named Luo Feng. She worked at Wenfeng? Not Wenfeng. She worked at... I just got disconnected. She worked at a sort of a place where you could it's like in Canada we have a place called First Choice Haircutters. It's really shitty. It's not very well organized. It's not very well decorated. Just a franchise barbershop. Imagine a franchise barbershop spa where you can get your head shampooed and a shoulder rub. Back in the day, it might cost 30, 40, 50 now, but back in the day you could walk in, have your head shampooed. I had hair in 2004, so I would get my hair shampooed, rub my head. Oh, the head, the forehead, the third eye. This is nice. There's all kinds of shit you can do to a bitch without touching her pussy. That's advice from a vet. There's a million, uncountable, how much foreplay, not how many foreplay. Foreplay, the methods of foreplay are uncountable. Your entire skin is an erogenous zone, but it exists on a spectrum. Your ears, your lips, your neck, your nipples, and your reproductive organs are especially sensitive. But you can have quite a bit of fun with the rest of the skin, believe me. So the question that I'm trying to answer, I asked myself, how do I feel about Ellison? I asked myself a question. And then I kept talking, and I described foreplay as an uncountable unit. An uncountable Anyway, foreplay can be counted in time, I guess, but it's very just you can. The point is, you can get very creative with foreplay. And that's how I feel about Rebecca Apple when she looks like a Vietnamese stewardess. If she showed up looking like Eric's girlfriend, I don't know how I would feel. Eric's girlfriend is a white bitch with green eyes and orange hair. My ex girlfriend, Fan Mei Yen, was a Chinese girl with dark brown eyes or black eyes. And orange hair. Mia had the same haircut as my mom. Fan Mei Yen had long, damn near orange hair and black eyes. She dumped me because I fucked her too much. When her name was Monica, she dumped me because I fucked her too hard. She might have also dumped me because I was talking shit about my dad and she had been fucking my dad. Oh wait, it's a long, complicated fucking story. It's a long, complicated fucking story. But, you know, on first sight, I was generally happy to see her and green eyes, maybe blue eyes, light colored eyes. White bitch. And he looked kind of like Elisar. Maybe that was Gordon. Maybe that was Elisar or Gordon. I don't know. Rebecca. Rebecca Apple. Gordon Apple. Who's the younger sister? Eve Jubbs. There's a younger sister. Maybe that's Dragon Cunt. My buddy Kevin had a blonde friend named Megan Friesen. If I had to pick a classmate to play the role of Amy Jin, and if I had to pick a skinny brunette to play the role of a big annoying white bitch, Dragon Cunt as a blonde could be Megan Friesen. Megan Friesen as a Chinese bitch could be Amy Jin. Fiona could be Amy. If Fiona was a bit taller and plumper, she could be Amy. Fiona had the same eyes as Lara. They might be the same person. I don't know. I don't know. I have a spreadsheet with 54 bitches in it, and that I stopped counting in when I moved to Beijing. Around September 2007, I decided the average number of sexual partners for a man is 14, I think. In your whole life, you might fuck 14 different bitches. I think I fucked 14 different bitches. I used to be under the impression that I fucked about 100, but I stopped counting at 54. But now I wonder. You know, I was looking at that spreadsheet again and remembering images, graphic imagery, close up face shots. And I realize there might not be 54 unique women in that spreadsheet. There might be about 30 or 40 in the spreadsheet I shared earlier. I don't know. I think there's less unique women in that spreadsheet than there are unique phone numbers. I could be mistaken, but I think so. I think there's less unique women. If you do, are there more unique phone numbers or unique women in that spreadsheet? If I just had to guess, highly educated conjecture, I would say there's more unique phone numbers in that spreadsheet. It's all a blur. I might have been drunk. Anyway, the vet. The vet. I'm somewhat excited about Cambodia because at first glance it seems cheaper than Hong Kong, and although I do get approached by women with tattoos on the street, I don't get that general vibe from Phnom Penh. I didn't see a single 7-Eleven. There were maybe some equivalents, but I didn't see any 7-Eleven. I didn't see any McDonald's. I saw a Domino's. I walked, I took a tuk-tuk. $5 for the tuk-tuk. I paid $5 for a tuk-tuk in Cambodia. US dollars. I paid $5. Generally, when I speak of dollars, I'm never referring to Australian dollars. Having been born in the 51st state, I often refer to Canadian dollars. but I tried to specify Canadian. Generally, when I speak of dollars, I'm referring to the US dollar. The dollar. There are many dollars, but there is only one the dollar. For now, things are not going to the dollar. You know, previously I suggested that many of the people who beat the index are either running a Ponzi scheme or they're doing some kind of insider trading, or both. There's very famous videos from the 80s of like fund managers throwing darts at a board to see how good their performance was compared to random. The vast majority of traders and fund managers do not beat a large enough number of darts on a board. I forget the details. I was just told most fund managers can't beat darts at a board. But Warren Buffett's been making 19% average returns for 40 years, and I wonder what he does with his insurance premium cash deposits. Does he just leave your premiums in a bank account waiting for you to have medical expenses? Or does Geico maybe manage a fund of Berkshire Hathaway properties, and they dump cash into those properties and they do cross promotions, and maybe that's why Warren Buffett can make 19%, because of vertical integration in his monetary supply chain and his cross promotional Berkshire Hathaway portfolio. But basically, that's a Ponzi scheme. Right? You get money from an investor promising unreal returns. You deliver by doing the same shit to many other investors, and you just pay your current investor with your next investors. You build a rep by always delivering better returns. You go watch the bio of Bernie Madoff. You want to know what a Ponzi scheme is? Ponzi scheme can be loosely defined, and it can also exist on a spectrum. But in my view, I feel like, and again, this is, I'm a vet economist, not credited economist. I'm a vet economist. And as a vet economist, I can tell you that universal basic income, or at the very least, financially supporting your cannon fodder, right? What do I do with my money? I give it to Trip.com. and the rest goes to 7-Eleven ish. Not necessarily in Cambodia. But when I travel, when I'm in Japan, my line items per outlet is a huge slice of the pie that goes to trip.com, and there's approximately maybe a slightly bigger slice of the pie that goes to 7-Eleven and other miscellaneous nigger vendors. And I'm not renting helicopters. I'm not cliff diving. I'm not eating caviar on a yacht. But I feel pretty productive. And I also feel that what I have now is approximately the least you can do for someone like me. And so when I turned on that video, when I rebooted my computer and I saw, I'll show you. I can show you. Here, this. I'll just show you a screenshot. This Trump signs congressional bill July 30th, 2025. That's the name of the video. It is from the White House with a check mark. Virtual Trump has decided to support the veterans. And he was also saying, you know, this morning I went into an ambulance and they asked me if I had insurance. I said no. Then they said, what hospital do you want to go to? And I started gesturing to the door. I said, I want to leave. I want to get out. I want to go. I want out is approximately what I said. But, you know, in this video, Donald Trump was talking about how veterans could get free medical care. They could just walk into a clinic, show their veterans card, and then forget about it. That's nice. Premium, large provider network, health, direct payment for people who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I don't believe in single-payer healthcare because I'm a libertarian. I do believe there's a lot of conversations I had, like, why does an MRI machine cost $10 million? How many rare earths are in that MRI machine? Is it all bullshit? What would happen if there were no insurance companies reimbursing you for an MRI? I suspect the MRI machine would get cheaper and more generic. And I suspect eventually you'd be able to walk into a clinic and get an MRI scan for less than $10. And also, you might be able to get an AI trained gamma knife to just remove any tumors that can be, even micro tumors that can be detected with an MRI scanner. You know, you could have like an auto doc, like that movie with my other cousin, Passengers, auto doc. There's a lot of sci-fi references to the auto doc. There's hologram. I bet Bishop from Aliens could be a pretty good auto doc with the right software. But I feel like an MRI scanner and a gamma knife, that's a pretty good proof of concept for an auto doc. So the problem with single payer healthcare is that 20 to 50% of your healthcare dollars is going to intellectual property rights and bureaucrats. It might be 80%. IP and bureaucracy might be 80% of the cost of your single payer healthcare network. But Bernie Sanders will tell you that in Canada it's cheaper than in the US. Half of bullshit is still too much. You know, if you can cut, if the free market can cut the price 100x, maybe that's better than single payer healthcare. Again, we don't want to be, you know, anarchism is not a grand unified political theory that solves all problems. It solves 80% of problems. There's regulation for the purpose of quality assurance, regulation for the purpose of eliminating false advertising, and then just no IP. There can be a million different fucking brands of Tylenol and aspirin. You get a universal basic income that's pretty decent. You might have an extra grand left over at the end of the month, and your healthcare should never, ever, ever cost more than that. What do I think about LSR? I feel like if we had $4 grand a month and I had a white bitch busting my balls, we would have savings. I think so. Not to say that Believe me, I hate this bitch. Believe me, I hate this bitch. It's just, there is a profile of whiteness that includes a savings account and an investment portfolio. White people have savings, white people have stocks. I think so. I think if you have savings and stocks, you're approximately white. There is a Chinese interpretation of race based on the nebulous Asian principle that is represented in Taoism by the principle of yin and yang, opposing forces that cannot be separate. We can say that money is the yang, and the yang symbolizes the south side of a mountain with the sun shining on it. And the yin is the north side that is colder and in the shadows. But you can't have a one-sided mountain. And that is approximately, I feel like we can take that notion, that notion of yin and yang, we can define whiteness based on the Chinese idea of positivity, power. The more muscular tiger chasing a dragon that can breathe fire. A little bit ironic for me, but still whatever. I shoot depleted uranium. If you understand race in a sort of a Chinese way, because in China they don't really have race. They have foreigners. They drink beers with foreigners, but there's no race. There's the Uyghurs and the Tibetans. Like in Shanghai, you walk down the street with, again, a few exceptions in Shanghai, which is a tier 1 city that's very international. With a few exceptions, Shanghai does not have race the way that we have race. But there is still racial-ish class struggle. For example, a vet versus an accredited psychiatrist with lots of fucking money and connections, right? Versus a vet who is highly educated in conjecture. That's an interesting fight. A full of shit, dumb cunt with a certificate and rich friends. Versus her very smart ex-boyfriend. Fight. Anyway, if you understand the interpretation of what it means to be a nigger, can't have a yang without a yin. You can't have a yin without a yang. They need each other. Competition in the reality space. Reality, non-reality, binary, nothing, something. Particle, no particle. Is it a particle? Is it a wave? Nebulous positivity versus void. Objective, nothing. You know, put all your racial fuck stereotypes in that context. And we can just shit on fucking ignorant people. You know, niggers. You just shit on ignorant fucking niggers. And then we don't have to get racial about it. That'd be nice. Of course, still have racist jokes and stereotypes might still inform our implicit biases. But maybe that's why liberals will tell you not to repeat those jokes. But if you repeat those jokes, you can get a virtual assassinated president elected because he's just more fucking interesting than his Democrat opponent, even if she's alive. Virtual Trump is way more fucking charismatic than living Kamala Harris. Such is the way of things. The yin and the yang, the vet and the professional. And the UBI Ponzi scheme to create a free market with generally pretty good, well-reviewed shit that doesn't have a huge markup on it. Everything's generic. You know, like Coca-Cola, for example. This, look at this, okay? It's a part of my routine. I don't know if I actually get a buzz off the caffeine. I think I do. I can't go without this shit. I'll have a fucking panic attack. I have random panic attacks once in a while, but you want to see me fucking lose my shit very predictably? Just take away my caffeine. You're gonna see 2 or 3 extremely shitty fucking days. Scientific studies have determined that once you get past those 2 or 3 difficult days, your performance is approximately equivalent, assuming that you have good sleep, and your sleep might actually improve if you eliminate caffeine from your regimen, which might increase your overall performance. But I can't imagine life without caffeine. I just don't want to. I like Coke Zero. But this, Coca, Cola, the font is the only part of this that is intellectual property. You can have a red can that says Coca-Cola. Maybe you can spell anyway. But if you use a generic font, like this, yeah. If you use this generic font to write Coca-Cola, right? Cola, Pepsi Cola. Cola is an English word. It's not intellectual property. Coca refers to the coca leaf. Coca tea. You can have coca tea. You have cola nuts. You have Pepsi Cola. You have coca tea. You can have Coca-Cola without this font, and you're not violating any intellectual property. Coca is not IP. Cola is not IP. Zero sugar, not intellectual property. 330 ml, not intellectual property. Cambodian shit I can't read. Barcode. Nutritional information. Coca-Cola in this font is the only IP on this can. It is a trademark. It is the name of the author. If there is another Coca-Cola that I like better, if there's a free market and there is competition in Coca-Cola, maybe it gets cheaper. Maybe it gets better. Maybe there's a new Coke that people love so much more. There's a new flavor formula that was discovered by AI. Super addictive. People adore it. What is intellectual property? What is intellectual accreditation? And what is a vet? Think about it.